Hurricane Melissa bearing down on Jamaica. You've probably heard about Hurricane Melissa, a Category 5 hurricane, very rare, with max sustained winds in excess of 160 miles an hour as it approaches Jamaica. And joining us from Jamaica is CNN meteorologist and my friend Derek Van Dam, who's in the capital of the country. And obviously the rain starting up behind you there, Derek. If you wouldn't mind just by setting the scene, what are you seeing right now? And also, what are you anticipating there in Kingston over the next few hours?
Chris, so good to hear your voice. It's so good to talk to you, to help share the story. This is going to be an extremely difficult, prolonged period for the residents of Jamaica. There's about 3 million people who call this home. I'm in the capital city of Kingston. About 1 million people reside here, and it is a highly vulnerable area. We are facing the prospects of what could be the strongest storm to ever make landfall in Jamaica history. It is already the strongest storm on the planet right now. In all of 2025, it is just looking at the satellite. I think you can appreciate this as a meteorologist. It's just this perfect specimen of what Mother Nature can provide or produce, unfortunately, and there's going to be serious ramifications, some of which are the slow-moving nature of the storm. It has been crawling at basically the speed of an average human's brisk walk, 3 to 5 miles per hour. But what that's going to do, Chris, is it's going to prolong the period of heavy rain, catastrophic winds, storm surge, which will go through multiple high tide cycles. Remember, we're located in the central Caribbean, and the mountains that surround this area is only going to exacerbate the rainfall threat here. So the potential exists for 40 inches of rain. That's the National Hurricane Center's forecast. And they're warning of potential isolation of communities for days after the storm. Massive infrastructure loss, communication, power loss, the whole full gambit expected with the arrival of Hurricane Melissa. Look, I'm going to try and set the scene for you. There's not a lot of wind right now. We know that this is the calm before the storm. And as a meteorologist, you can understand, too, that this is a game of miles. So where that center of the storm makes landfall is so critical. As we fine-tune this final approach into the south coast of Jamaica, it appears it will be actually to the west of Kingston, sparing this area the strongest, most catastrophic winds. But that doesn't mean the threats are gone. It's the rain, the landslides, the mudslides, and the potential of storm surge here that we're so concerned about. This area is almost sitting in a bowl, surrounded by mountains. We call them the Blue Mountains. Blue Mountain coffee, you may have had it, drank it before. That's farmed in the mountains directly behind us. But they tower about 7,000 feet into the sky. And so when we get this moisture from the Caribbean Ocean just piling up against that immovable surface, it's like a wet sponge just pushing out all that water. It's going to form heavy rainfall into this area. And by the way, the mountains also complicate the catastrophic winds. When it does make landfall, there are remote communities in these mountains that will feel winds, in my estimate, that could top 200 miles per hour. We're on the upper echelon of what a Category 5 and Mother Nature can possibly produce. And that is just a mere physics, right? You're talking about the winds getting mixed down from the upper levels of the atmosphere into these higher elevations. Where we are a little bit lower, closer to the sea surface, it won't have that potency. But you go higher, 200 miles an hour gusts, not out of the question, Chris.
Oh, my goodness. Well, Derek, I certainly hope that you and your crew stay safe. We appreciate you giving us a few minutes of your time there in Kingston. And as you ride the storm out again, we're going to be thinking about you and everybody in Jamaica. A truly devastating scene. Derek Van Dam joining us from Kingston, Jamaica, where they're preparing, as you just heard, for the impacts from Category 5 Hurricane Melissa, which is crawling along, the rain underway there. I kind of want to briefly explain as well why this storm is so dangerous and allude to what Derek was talking about a second ago. First of all, talking about the potential for 40 inches of rain. For context, in Denver, we average about 14 inches of rain and snow equivalent in a year. So that is more than 3 times what Denver gets in a full year in just about 72 hours. So this storm, it's crawling along. Derek was talking about this, moving at the speed of a brisk walk. So this thing just going to crawl along the mountains of Jamaica. Derek was just talking about that. The Blue Mountains go up over 5,000 feet in elevation. So you get this sudden rise of elevation that, again, acts to squeeze out all that moisture. And then eventually the storm going to track north and east through Jamaica, through Cuba, and then eventually move on out, but not before, unfortunately, that potential for 200-mile-an-hour winds in some of those mountains that Derek was speaking about. So Category 5, highest level on the Saffir-Simpson scale. Very slow movement. That, if anything else, that's the really scary part of this storm. This thing just crawling along. Hurricane typically moves about 10 to 15 miles an hour, if not quicker than that. This is moving less than half that speed right now. And that hilly topography of Jamaica will help to wring out that moisture. And so devastating flooding, storm surge, and strong winds. All that part of the danger with this storm.